Dead men don't send emails, but my stepfather did. 3 days after his funeral, I got a message from David Chen's account. Then another. Then another. Each one revealing clues to millions in hidden cryptocurrency, each one testing whether I was worthy of inheriting it. My name is Zoe Martinez, and this is the story of how a digital treasure hunt revealed that everything I thought I knew about my stepfather's death was a lie. Because David Chen wasn't dead. He was watching, testing, waiting to see if his children would destroy each other for money or choose something more valuable. My stepfather died on a Wednesday. Car accident on Highway 101, just south of San Francisco. His Tesla drove off the road at high speed, crashed through a barrier, and burst into flames. They said he died instantly, that he didn't suffer. They said a lot of things that turned out to be lies. The funeral was held on Saturday at a cemetery in Palo Alto, attended by hundreds of people, tech executives, investors, employees from David's company, CipherCore Security. David Chen had been a legend in cybersecurity, built CipherCore from nothing into a company worth $500 million. Pioneer in blockchain technology, early Bitcoin investor, millionaire by 30, multimillionaire by 40. He was also my stepfather for the past 6 years. He'd married my mother Carmen when I was 19. I'd been skeptical, another tech bro with more money than sense, I'd thought. But David had surprised me. He was kind, brilliant, genuinely interested in people beyond their usefulness to him. He'd encouraged my art, funded my first gallery showing, treated me like his own daughter even though I wasn't. His biological son, Tyler, stood across from me at the graveside. 27, tall, wearing an expensive black suit that probably cost more than my rent. I'd met Tyler a handful of times over the years. He worked in tech like his father, lived in Seattle, visited maybe twice a year. We'd never been close, barely spoke at family gatherings. He thought I was a flaky artist living off his father's generosity. I thought he was a spoiled trust fund kid who took David for granted. Now, we were both orphans in a way. My mother had died 2 years ago from an aneurysm. Tyler's mother had died when he was young. David was all we'd had left. After the service, David's business partner and CFO, Marcus Webb, approached me. "Zoe, I'm so sorry for your loss. David spoke highly of you. He was proud of your work. Thank you, Marcus. We'll need to schedule a time to discuss the estate. David's will needs to be read, assets distributed. Can you meet at our lawyer's office next week?" "Of course." Marcus nodded, then went to speak with Tyler. I watched them talk, Marcus's hand on Tyler's shoulder in a gesture that seemed more possessive than comforting. Something about Marcus had always bothered me. He was smooth, polished, said all the right things. But his eyes were cold. Calculating, David had. Trusted him though, made him CFO, gave him significant equity in CipherCore. They'd been partners for 15 years. Still, something felt off. 3 days after the funeral, I was in my studio apartment in Oakland, trying to work on a painting and failing miserably, when my laptop chimed. New email. From David Chen, david.chen@cyphercore.com. Subject, Zoe, read this alone. My heart stopped. This had to be a sick joke. Someone hacking David's account. Some scammer trying to exploit a grieving family. But I opened it anyway. Zoe, if you're reading this, the protocols have been triggered. I'm either dead, or I've chosen to disappear. Either way, what I'm about to tell you is real. I have 347 Bitcoin in a digital wallet. At current prices, that's approximately $14 million. This cryptocurrency is hidden behind a series of cryptographic puzzles. The private key is split across multiple locations, protected by questions that only someone who truly knew me could answer. You and Tyler will both receive these emails. You can work together to find the wallet, or you can compete. The choice is yours. But know this. The puzzles will reveal truths about our family, about me, about people you trust. Some of these truths will be difficult. If you want to proceed, reply to this email with the answer to this question. What was the name of the first painting you sold, and who did you sell it to? This is not a scam, this is a test. David, I stared at the screen, my hands shaking. This couldn't be real. Dead people don't send emails. But the details were too specific. The writing sounded like David, direct, precise, slightly cryptic, and no one else would know about my first painting sale except David. He'd been there, had connected me with the buyer. I checked the email headers. They looked legitimate, sent from David's actual server with all the proper authentication protocols. My phone rang. Tyler, did you get an email? He asked without preamble. From David? Yes. So, it's not just me. What the fuck, Zoe? Is this someone's idea of a sick joke? I don't know. But the details. Tyler, it sounds like him. And the technical setup, whoever sent this has access to David's actual account, not a spoofed version. David's dead. We saw them lower his coffin into the ground. I know, but what if he set this up before he died? Some kind of automatic protocol that triggers if... If what? I don't know. But he was in cybersecurity. He built systems that could do exactly this kind of thing. Tyler was quiet for a moment. The email mentioned puzzles. Clues to a Bitcoin wallet. $14 million worth. Jesus, did he ask you a question? To prove your identity? Yes, about my first painting sale. What about you? He asked about a camping trip we took when I was 12. Something only he and I would know. Are you going to answer? Are you? We both hesitated. This could be someone trying to scam us, Tyler said, getting us to reveal personal information. Or it could be exactly what David said, a test. A way to distribute his assets. Why not just put it in his will like a normal person? Because David wasn't normal. You know that. He loved puzzles, codes, games. This is exactly the kind of thing he'd do. So what do? I think we answer, but carefully, and we compare notes. If this is real, we should work together. You want to work together? I heard the skepticism in his voice. We barely knew each other, barely trusted each other. $14 million, Tyler. Split 2 ways is still $7 million each. That's more than enough for both of us. And if David wanted us to compete, he would have said so explicitly. He said you can work together or compete. Maybe he's testing whether we'll cooperate. Tyler thought about it. Okay. We share information. But if this turns out to be a scam, we go to the police together. Deal? Deal, I answered David's question. Sent the email. 5 minutes later, another message arrived. Zoe, correct. You are who you claim to be. The first clue. In the place where we celebrated your mother's life, look for the book I gave you about truth and perception. Inside, you'll find the first piece of the puzzle. Be careful. Not everyone wants you to succeed. David, the place where we celebrated my mother's life. That was David's house in Menlo Park. We'd held Mom's memorial in the backyard, under the oak trees she loved. The book about truth and perception. I knew exactly which one. David had given me a first edition of Gödel, Escher, Bach 2 years ago, saying it reminded him of my art layers of meaning, self-reference, truth that couldn't be captured in simple statements. I'd left it at David's house in the library because it was too valuable to risk damaging in my cramped apartment. I called Tyler. I got the next clue. You? Yeah. He's sending me to the Cipher Core office. Something hidden in his desk. What about you? The house in Menlo Park. Tyler, I think we should go together. Compare what we find. Marcus is at the office right now. He's been going through David's things. If I show up asking about hidden puzzles, he's going to ask questions. So tell him you're collecting personal items, your father's belongings. What if he's part of this? What if David set this up to test him too? I hadn't thought of that. Then we don't tell him anything. We act normal, collect what we need, and leave. All right, I'll go to the office. You go to the house. We meet afterward and share what we find. Be careful, Tyler. You too. David's house was a modern architectural masterpiece in Menlo Park, glass, steel, and wood, designed to blur the line between inside and outside. Mom had loved it. I'd inherited her key and the security code. I let myself in, feeling like an intruder, even though I had every right to be there. The house was exactly as I remembered. David's presence everywhere, his books, his art collection, his minimalist aesthetic. I went to the library and found Gödel, Escher, Bach on the shelf where I'd left it. Inside the front cover was a post-it note in David's handwriting. Zoe, the first layer is always the most obvious. Look deeper. Below it, written in pencil and nearly invisible, a string of characters. QMY, 3N2, RMN3, ArchZ, E4, MZB, NWI, 5ZDQYY, Free MTG, 5Y, EAGNY, ECK, equals it looked like base 64, encoding a common way to encode binary data as text. I photographed it with my phone and kept looking through the book. Between pages 242 and 243, I found a pressed flower, Mom's favorite, a California poppy. And beneath it, another note. Your mother knew the truth. She wanted you to know too. Trust your instincts, question everything. The truth about what? I photographed everything and left the house, feeling more confused than when I'd arrived. I met Tyler at a coffee shop in Palo Alto. He looked stressed, kept checking over his shoulder. Did Marcus see you? I asked. Yeah. He asked what I was doing. I told him I was collecting Dad's personal effects. He offered to help, but I said I needed to do it alone. Grief, you know. Did you find what David mentioned? Tyler pulled out his phone and showed me a photo. A USB drive hidden in a false bottom of David's desk drawer. And a note. Tyler, the second layer requires both pieces. You and Zoe must work together. Trust each other. Both pieces, I said. You have a USB drive, I have an encoded string. Let's see what we've got. Tyler had brought his laptop. We sat in a corner booth and he plugged in the USB drive. It contained a single file, an encrypted document, password protected. The string you found might be the password, Tyler said. Can I see it? I showed him the photo. He copied the string and tried it as a password. Access denied. Maybe it needs to be decoded first, I said. It looks like base 64. Tyler ran it through a decoder. The output was another string of characters, hexadecimal this time. He tried that as the password. The document opened. Inside was a video file. We looked at each other, then hit play. David's face appeared on screen. He looked tired, worried. The video had been recorded in his home office, probably weeks before his death. Zoe, Tyler, if you're watching this, you've completed the first puzzle. Good. That means you're working together, which is what I hoped. The Bitcoin wallet is real. The fortune is real. But this isn't just about money. This is about truth. I've discovered something about CipherCore, about Marcus. He's been embezzling from the company for 3 years. Millions of dollars, siphoned off through fake vendor contracts and offshore accounts. I have proof documents, transactions, everything. I was planning to confront him next week. If I'm dead, it means Marcus found out I knew. The next clue is in the place where we learned trust is fragile but essential. Tyler, you'll remember. Bring Zoe. And be careful. Marcus is dangerous. If he knows you're looking for this, he'll try to stop you. The video ended. Tyler and I sat in stunned silence. Holy shit, Tyler finally said. Dad knew Marcus was embezzling, and now Dad's dead. Tyler, the car accident. What if it wasn't an accident? Are you saying Marcus killed him? I'm saying we should consider the possibility. Tyler ran his hands through his hair, looking shaken. Jesus. We need to go to the police. With what evidence? A video that could have been fabricated? We need the proof David mentioned. The documents showing the embezzlement. The next clue? Tyler said. The place where we learn trust is fragile but essential. Do you know what that means? No, that's a clue for you, Tyler thought. There's a climbing gym in San Jose. Dad took me there when I was 14, right after my mom died. He wanted to teach me about trust, how climbing with a partner requires absolute faith that they'll catch you if you fall. Then that's where we go. The climbing gym was called Summit Trust. It had been around for 20 years, a fixture in San Jose's climbing community. Tyler and I arrived just as it opened on Sunday morning. What are we looking for? I asked. I don't know. Dad said the next clue is here. We approached the front desk. A young guy with dreadlocks and a belay harness looked up. Help you? We're looking for something that might have been left here, Tyler said. My father, David Chen, was a member. He passed away recently. The guy's expression softened. Oh man, I'm sorry. Yeah, David was a regular. Great guy, he actually left something for you. Told us someone would come asking. He went to a back office and returned with a sealed envelope addressed to Tyler and Zoe. Inside was another note and a small SD card. Tyler, Zoe. The documents are on this card, but they're encrypted. The password is split between you. Tyler, your half is the year I married your mother, multiplied by the number of times I told you I was proud of you the last time we spoke. Zoe, your half is the date your first gallery showing opened, divided by the number of paintings you sold. Combine them in order. Tyler's number, then Zoe's number. No spaces. This is the proof that will expose Marcus. But be careful who you trust. Also, I'm sorry I wasn't always the father you deserved. I was better at code than people. I hope this treasure hunt helps you understand that I did love you both, more than I ever said. David, Tyler, and I sat in his car in the parking lot, trying to work out the password. The year Dad married my mom was 2005, Tyler said, and the last time we spoke? Shit, that was the day before he died. We had dinner. He told me he was proud of me. 3 times? No, 4. He kept saying it, which was weird because he wasn't usually that expressive. So 2005 times 4 is 8,020. What about your half? I thought back. My first gallery show opened on March 15th, 2021. The 15th of March 2021, and I sold 6 paintings. So what do we divide? The whole date? Maybe just the month and day? 315 divided by 6 is... I did the math on my phone. 52.5. Passwords don't usually have decimals. Try 52? Or 53 if we round up? We tried combinations. 802052. 802053. Nothing worked. Wait, I said. What if it's not 315? What if it's the actual date format? 20210315? That divided by 6 is... I calculated. 3,368,385.83. Try 3368385. I typed in the password 802033683885. The SD card unlocked. Inside were dozens of documents. Spreadsheets showing fraudulent transactions. Bank statements from Cayman Islands accounts in Marcus's name. Emails between Marcus and fake vendor companies, all controlled by Marcus. David hadn't been exaggerating. Marcus had stolen at least $7 million from CipherCore over 3 years. We need to take this to the police, Tyler said, and to the board of directors. Marcus needs to be arrested. But Tyler, David's death. If Marcus was embezzling and David found out, then Marcus had motive to kill him. My laptop chimed. Another email from David's account. Zoe, Tyler, if you've found the evidence, you know the truth about Marcus. But there's more. I've been investigating Marcus's activities. I believe he's been monitoring my communications. He may have access to my emails, my computer, possibly yours as well. Do not contact the authorities from any device you've used before. Marcus will know, he'll destroy evidence and disappear. There's one more piece you need, the actual Bitcoin wallet key. It's hidden in the place where all secrets eventually surface. Trust each other. You're going to need to. David, he's been monitoring our communications? I said. Tyler, that means Marcus knows we're looking for the evidence. He knows we have it. As if on cue, Tyler's phone rang. Marcus. We stared at it. Don't answer, I said. If I don't, he'll know something's wrong. Tyler answered on speaker. Marcus. Hey. Tyler, where are you? Marcus's voice was pleasant. Casual. Too casual. Running. Some errands. Why? I've been trying to reach you. We need to discuss some items related to your father's estate. Can you come to the office? I'm kind of busy today. Can it wait until tomorrow? A pause. I suppose. But Tyler, there are some urgent matters. Your father left some irregularities in the books. Things I need to discuss with you and Zoe together. Irregularities? Nothing to worry about. Just some transactions that need clarification. Would you be available tomorrow morning? 9 a.m.? Sure. Yeah, I'll be there. Excellent. And Tyler? Please bring Zoe. This concerns both of you. He hung up. Tyler and I looked at each other. He knows, Tyler said. Irregularities in the books? He's going to try to pin the embezzlement on David. Make it look like David was the one stealing, not him, or he's going to try to make us disappear. Same way he made Dad disappear. The place where all secrets eventually surface, I said. Tyler, where would David mean? I don't... He loved the ocean, believed in transparency. Where does secrets surface? The water? The ocean? Or maybe it's metaphorical. A confession, an investigation, or literal. Water literally surfaces things. Tyler, did David have a boat? A lake house? No, but he loved Baker Beach. We used to go there when I was a kid. He'd say the ocean was where he did his best, thinking where truth became clear. Then that's where we go. We drove to Baker Beach in San Francisco. arriving just before sunset. The beach was nearly empty, a few dog walkers, a couple taking photos. "What are we looking for?" I asked. "I don't know. A dead drop? A buried box?" We walked along the beach, searching. Tyler checked the rocks. I looked for anything unusual. Then I saw it. A small cairn of stones, carefully balanced, about 50 yards up the beach. It looked natural, but wasn't. The stones were too deliberately placed. We dismantled it carefully. At the bottom was a waterproof container. Inside, a letter and a hardware wallet, a small device that stores cryptocurrency keys offline. Tyler opened the letter. "Tyler, Zoe, this is the final piece. The Bitcoin wallet. 347 BTC, worth approximately $14 million. But before you access it, I need you to understand something. This treasure hunt wasn't just about the money. It was about you two learning to work together, learning to trust each other. You're step-siblings who barely know each other. You've lived separate lives, but you're all the family either of you has left. And family, real family, is more valuable than any amount of money. The password to this wallet is simple. The name you'd give our family if we were all together. Tyler Chen Martinez, or Zoe Martinez Chen, or any combination. The point is, you're one family. Act like it. There's one more thing. Marcus is dangerous. By now he knows you've been investigating. He'll try to stop you. Be careful. And when you expose him, make sure you have protection, police, lawyers, witnesses. Don't confront him alone. I love you both. I wish I'd said it more often while I was alive." "David, while he was alive?" I repeated. "Tyler," the phrasing. "Why would David write while I was alive if he thought he was going to die soon? Because he knew Marcus was going to try to kill him? This whole thing, the treasure hunt, the clues, it's David's way of fighting back from beyond the grave. Or, a thought hit me. Tyler, what if David isn't dead?" "What? We saw the funeral. The coffin. But did we see a body? Was there an open casket?" "No, they said the fire damage was too severe. The casket was closed." "What if David faked his death? Set up this whole scenario to expose Marcus and to test us?" Tyler stared at me. "That's insane. Is it? David was a tech genius who specialized in security and encryption. He had the money and the skills to fake his death. And everything about this treasure hunt, it's not just about the Bitcoin. It's about teaching, testing us. If Dad's alive, where is he? Watching, waiting to see if we pass his test." Before Tyler could respond, headlights appeared on the access road to the beach. A car pulled up Marcus's Range Rover. "Shit," Tyler said. He followed us. Marcus got out, walking toward us with a confidence that made my skin crawl. "Tyler, Zoe, I'm disappointed. I thought we could handle this like adults." "Handle what?" Tyler said, positioning himself between Marcus and me. "David's little game. I know about the emails, the clues, the evidence you found." "Evidence of your embezzlement?" I said. "The 7 million you stole from Cypher Core?" Marcus smiled. "Embezzled is such an ugly word. I prefer redirected capital. David was going to waste that money on idealistic nonsense privacy tools, encryption for activists. I put it to better use." "You stole it." "And David found out," Tyler added. "So you killed him." "Killed him?" Marcus laughed. "Is that what you think? That I'm some kind of murderer?" "The car accident wasn't an accident," I said. "Actually, it was. At least it was supposed to look like one. But I admit, I may have helped it along. Hacked his car's systems, disabled the safety features. Modern Teslas are remarkably easy to manipulate if you know what you're doing." He said it so casually, admitting to murder like it was a business decision. "Why are you telling us this?" Tyler asked. "Because you're not leaving this beach alive. You found the evidence. You know too much. And that wallet," he pointed to the hardware wallet in Tyler's hand, "that's 14 million in untraceable cryptocurrency. Split 3 ways? No. Better split 1 way. All mine." He pulled out a gun. "Marcus, put the gun down." A voice from behind us. Familiar? Impossible? We all turned. David Chen stood there, very much alive, flanked by 2 FBI agents. I felt like I was hallucinating. "David? Hello, Zoe? Tyler? I'm sorry for putting you through this. But I needed to know." Marcus's face went white. "You're dead. I saw the car explode. You watched a remote-controlled Tesla with a body bag inside go off a cliff. Quite a show. Expensive too, but worth it to draw you out. This is impossible." No, Marcus, this is a sting operation. You see, I discovered your embezzlement 6 months ago. I've been working with the FBI ever since, building a case. But I needed you to confess, to show your hand. And you just did, admitting to murder, to hacking my car, to planning to kill Tyler and Zoe? One of the FBI agents, a woman in her 40s, stepped forward. Marcus Webb, you're under arrest for embezzlement, attempted murder, and conspiracy to commit murder. You have the right to remain silent. Marcus looked between David, the FBI agents, and Tyler and me. For a moment, I thought he might run, or shoot. But then his shoulders sagged and he dropped the gun. They cuffed him and led him to an unmarked car. David walked over to us. He looked older, tired, but alive. I'm sorry, he said. I know this has been traumatic. Grief is real, even when death is fake. You let us think you were dead, Tyler said, his voice shaking with anger. We mourned you. We buried you. How could you do that? Because I needed Marcus to believe I was dead. If he thought I was alive, he'd have run, disappeared to a country with no extradition. This was the only way to catch him. You could have told us, I said. We would have helped. Would you? Tyler, when was the last time you and I had a real conversation before this? You called twice a year, Christmas and my birthday. You lived your life in Seattle. I lived mine here. We were strangers. Tyler looked away, tears in his eyes. And Zoe, David continued, you were closer to your mother than to me. I was the guy who married her, who helped with your art, but I was never really your father, not in the way that mattered. That's not true, I said. But even as I said it, I knew it. He was partially true. I watched you two over the past week, David said. Every email, every clue, every decision. I needed to know if you'd work together or tear each other apart, if you'd choose family or money. The whole treasure hunt was a test, Tyler said. Yes, and you passed. You shared information, you trusted each other. You chose to split the Bitcoin rather than compete for it. That's what I needed to see. But the Bitcoin is real? I asked. David smiled. Oh yes, very real. The wallet, the password, all of it. $14 million, split between my 2 children. You've earned it. By jumping through your hoops? Tyler said bitterly. By being better than I feared you'd be. Tyler, I know I wasn't a great father. I was absent, focused on work, better with computers than people. And Zoe, I know I was never the father you needed. But you're both good people. You proved that. The FBI agent returned. Mr. Chen, we need you to come to the field office and give your formal statement. We'll also need statements from Tyler and Zoe. Of course. Agent Morrison, thank you for your patience with my unorthodox approach. Unorthodox is putting it mildly, Morrison said, but it worked. We have Webb's confession on recording. He's going away for a long time. The next few days were a blur of FBI interviews, lawyer meetings, and media coverage. The story broke nationally. Tech CEO fakes death to catch embezzling partner. CipherCore's stock tanked initially, then recovered when the board appointed a new CFO and assured investors that the company was stable. Marcus Webb was charged with embezzlement, attempted murder, and conspiracy. He tried to claim entrapment, but with his recorded confession and the evidence of the embezzlement, his lawyers convinced him to take a plea deal. 30 years in federal prison. David testified, explained his elaborate plan, and publicly apologized for the deception. And Tyler and I, we had to figure out what came next. We met at a coffee shop in Palo Alto, the same one where we'd first opened David's clues. So, Tyler said, $14 million, split 2 ways, $7 million each. What are you going to do with yours? I'd been thinking about that. I want to start a foundation for artists who come from nothing, kids like me who need someone to believe in them the way David believed in me. What about you? I don't know. Part of me wants to quit tech, buy a farm, raise chickens, get as far from this world as possible. But you won't. Tyler smiled slightly. No, I'll probably invest it, build something, maybe start my own company. Prove I can do what Dad did without taking shortcuts like Marcus. We sat in silence for a moment. Tyler, I'm sorry I didn't try harder to know you. All these years we could have been family, real family. Instead, we were just awkward strangers at holidays. I'm sorry too. I resented you, you know, for being close to Dad when I wasn't, for having your mom when mine was gone, for getting his attention so easily. I wasn't that close to him, not really, but I think that was my fault as much as his. Maybe we can fix that. Not with David, that ship has sailed, but with each other. We're all the family either of us has left. I'd like that. David invited us both to dinner a week later. At his house in Menlo Park, the one where this whole treasure hunt had started, he cooked something he rarely did. Pasta, salad, good wine. I owe you both an explanation, he said once we were settled at the table. A real one. You already explained, Tyler said. You needed to catch Marcus. You tested us. We get it. That's the tactical explanation. But there's more. The truth is, I was dying. Tyler and I both froze. What? I said. Stage 4 pancreatic cancer. Diagnosed 8 months ago. Prognosis: 6 months to a year with treatment, 2 to 3 months without. Dad, why didn't you tell us? Tyler asked, his voice breaking. Because I didn't want pity. I didn't want you visiting out of obligation, pretending to care because I was dying. I wanted to know if you'd care about each other when I was gone, if you'd be a family. So, the faked death, I said. It wasn't just about catching Marcus. No, it was about teaching you two to rely on each other. Marcus was a real threat, the embezzlement, the danger, but the treasure hunt was my way of bringing you together, of creating memories, shared experiences, a reason to connect. You could have just asked us to be closer, Tyler said. Would you have? Be honest. If I'd said, Tyler, Zoe, I want you to be siblings, would you have tried? Or would you have nodded politely and gone back to your separate lives? Tyler and I looked at each other. We both knew the answer. I'm sorry, David said, for being absent, for prioritizing work over family, for being better at code than at being a father. But I'm not sorry for the treasure hunt. Because it worked. You two are talking. You're planning futures that include each other. That's what I wanted. How long do you have? I asked quietly. 3 months, maybe? The cancer's progressing, but I'm at peace with it. I've made my amends. I've caught the man who betrayed me, and I've seen my children become family. Tyler was crying. I was crying. David's eyes were wet too. There's one more thing, David said. He pulled out 2 envelopes. For each of you. Don't open them until after I'm really gone this time. No faked deaths, I promise. We took the envelopes. And the Bitcoin, David continued. It's yours. Use it wisely. Build things. Help people. Make the world better. That's all any parent wants for their children. David Chen died on a Tuesday in December. For real this time. Pancreatic cancer, just as he'd predicted. He'd refused aggressive treatment, choosing quality of life over quantity. Tyler and I had been with him at the end, in his home, with hospice care. He'd been lucid until the final day. We'd talked about everything, his regrets, his pride in us, his hopes for our futures. He'd told terrible jokes, shared stories from his early days in tech, and made sure we knew he loved us. The second funeral was smaller. Just family, Tyler and me, a few close friends, the FBI agent who'd helped with the Marcus Webb case. We buried him next to my mother per his wishes. Together, finally. After the funeral, Tyler and I sat in David's house and opened our letters. Dear Zoe, if you're reading this, I'm gone. Again. But this time it's real. I'm sorry I wasn't the father you deserved. I tried, in my own awkward way, but I know I fell short. Your mother was the heart of our family. I was just the code that ran in the background. But I want you to know, I'm proud of you. Your art, your compassion, your integrity, you're everything I'm not. And I'm grateful I got to know you, even if I wasn't always good at showing it. The foundation you're planning, the one for young artists, it's beautiful. I've left an additional $5 million in a trust specifically for that purpose. Use it to change lives the way I should have changed more lives when I had the chance. Take care of Tyler. He's stronger than he looks, but he needs family. You both do. And thank you for giving me a second chance to be your father, even if it was just for 3 months. Love, David. Tyler's letter said something similar. A trust fund for whatever venture Tyler wanted to start. An apology for being absent. A request that we take care of each other. We sat there reading our letters, crying, laughing at some of David's jokes, remembering, he was a weird guy, Tyler said. The weirdest? I agreed. But he loved us. Yeah, he did. What do we do now? I thought about it. We use the money he gave us. We build the things he wanted us to build. And we're family. Real family. Not perfect, but trying. I can do that. Me too. 1 year after David's real death, Tyler and I met at Baker Beach, the place where we'd found the final clue, where Marcus had been arrested, where everything had changed. We brought flowers and threw them into the ocean, watching the waves carry them away. I miss him, I said. Me too, every day. The foundation is doing well. We helped 25 artists this year. Got them studio space, supplies, connections to galleries. That's amazing, Zoe. Dad would be proud. What about you? How's the company? Tyler had started a cybersecurity firm focused on protecting nonprofits and activist organizations, exactly the kind of work David had wanted to do before Marcus derailed him. It's growing, we're profitable, small but sustainable, and I feel good about what we're doing. Like I'm finishing what Dad started. He'd be proud of you too. We stood there watching the sunset, two people who'd barely known each other a year ago and were now genuinely close. Zoe, I've been thinking, the house in Menlo Park, it's just sitting empty. What if we did something with it? Like, what? Turn it into a residency space for artists and tech people working on projects that matter. A place where creativity and technology intersect. Like David and your mom, they came from different worlds, but they made something beautiful together. The Chen Martinez house, I said. Exactly. I love it. Let's do it. We walked back to our cars, making plans, imagining futures, being the family David had hoped we'd become. His treasure hunt had been about more than money. It had been about connection, about trust, about learning that family isn't just biology, it's choice and effort and showing up. David had shown up for us in the end, and we'd shown up for each other. That was the real inheritance, the one worth more than any amount of Bitcoin. This is Zoe Martinez, reminding you that the best inheritances aren't measured in dollars. My stepfather faked his death to teach us a lesson about family. It was manipulative, elaborate, and completely insane, but it worked. Tyler and I became real siblings. We learned to trust each other. We built something meaningful together. The money helped, but it was the journey, the puzzles, the revelations, the choice to cooperate instead of compete that changed everything. If this story resonated with you, like and subscribe for more tales about family, trust, and the things we inherit that matter most. Leave a comment. What would you do if you received emails from a dead relative? Would you work with family or compete against them? What's the most valuable thing someone's taught you? Remember, the people who test us sometimes do it because they love us. The treasure hunts that matter most aren't about finding gold, they're about finding each other.